Hey, how we doing? Doing okay, I'm hoping. Welcome back to another video review that I have for you. I'm hoping that you're finding these very informative and exciting too. And maybe you're going out and you're kind of thinking, I'd like to buy that book because I liked his review. So, like I said, I'm not trying to advertise. So, just to get that through your head, it's just for us to kind of describe, for me to kind of describe to you what I think. And maybe if you want to comment, that's fine too. But what do you think? I'm okay with that. And like I said, everything needs to have some kind of constructive feedback, and feedback is good. So hopefully that you found value in these books. So I have a really interesting book. Some of this, what I'm going to talk about, is actually very important for just life changes and also for maybe investing. If you're trying to invest, like with money and stuff like that. So it's called The Compound Effect, and it's by Darren Hardy. And it's jumpstart your income, your life, and your success. And it's not a very, and it's actually a New York Times bestseller. And this is a 2010 book. It's not very lengthy. 2010. So there's still a lot of value under that. I keep saying that because sometimes we kind of judge a book by the outdatedness of this. It's like doing research in a way. You always want to find current stuff. Sometimes the older stuff is just the same. So anyway, so you kind of want to jumpstart. And so what is this book about? And what I got from this is this book's really about a self-help book. And there's nothing wrong about self-help books, by the way. It emphasizes how small, consistent actions can lead to significant results over time. Small things can grow big. And you've probably heard this before. And the author, Darren, he argues that success and failure are largely a result of a cumulative effect of small decisions made consistently. So the smallest changes can have a bigger effect. And so small choices matter. He says consistency is the key. So small things matter. Consistency is the key. Habits and routines are good. You got to track your progress because we all want to see measurable outcomes. It's like going to the gym. You want to see if you're actually gaining muscle. And people give up in the first week because they don't see any muscle. And you got to keep going for the next couple months, and then you start to see muscle. Number 5 is that you have to have a power of motivation, or I'm sorry, power of momentum, power of momentum. And then you have 6 is called a ripple effect. So you have these 6 kind of reasons why this compound theory works. Okay, and so they were small choices, consistency, habit and routines, tracking progress, power of momentum, and the ripple effect. So very interesting words there. So it's really you kind of have to have consistency. It's like this thing you go to the gym and it says that little expression, no pain, no gain. And you got that pain really needs to help, because then you know that your muscles, if you're going to the gym, when they're hurting and stressed out, it means you didn't hurt yourself. Don't do that. But you know that you're getting, okay, they worked out. When I'm doing push-ups every day, because that's one of my goals for the next 50 days, is do 50 push-ups a day. I'm first couple of days, it was like, oh my God. And now a couple of weeks later, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I feel pretty good. And I'm going to keep going to that. And you don't quit. And you do that for that. And a lot of people make excuses. I don't feel good. Okay, that's fine. I don't have the energy. I just don't have the motivation. It's like, okay, well, what's going on? Doesn't get enough sleep. Okay, so then you have to kind of click on a little extra time that next day. But procrastination gets in the way, and your brain starts to do other things and think about other things too. So you got to be very careful. And it really doesn't matter how you start or aren't. You need to make up in hard work what your task and experience, skill, intelligence, and innate ability. If you're working for an organization and your competitor is a lot smarter than you, smart means very, very vague, so sorry. I'm trying to repeat what he said in the book. If your competitor is smarter, more talented, and more experience. Think about that. Somebody's really high above you and you're down here. You just need to work 3 times harder. Sometimes we get that. We get kind of, not jealous, but that's a word for it. I'm trying to think of the word. You have something that's way up here and you start up here and you kind of see this thing way up here that's so much better than you, I guess you can call it that way. And you just need to work 3 times harder to get to that position. And so this just takes time, and we get kind of jealous. Maybe we get kind of oh my God, I can't think of the word right now. If you can, that'd be great. So the compound effect is about the principle of repeating and redoing huge awards from a series of small choices. And so the results are massive. The steps in the moment, it's the steps in the moment that keep going, and you want to build that. And he says that small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals a radical difference in your life. Let me read that again. Small, smart choices, consistency, time have a dramatic effect. Everything takes time, right? But it takes consistency. You've probably heard this before all the time. And now you kind of maybe want to do it because you have to remind yourself. So it's really just a choice of this ripple effect. Once you have a small choice, so let's say you want to save up money. You want to save up money. And so they say when you're young, so when you're about 20, 25 years old, or even just a little bit younger, you want to start saving money every month. You probably heard this before. So if you save, let's say you put in $100 and you do that for every month until you retire, 65. In that 40 years or so, that money compounds on itself. So that small choice that you made to put some money in every month from your paycheck, some months are going to be harder than others. Maybe it depends on your job, but you want to always put that money in there. There's a book, I forgot what it was. You treat yourself first. You have to treat yourself first, and then you can pay your bills. So you take that step, and then it kind of builds up. And then after that many years, you have like $1 million or something like that if you do the math. And I kind of, since I'm a math person, I did some formulas for you. This is simple interest. And this is compound interest. After so many times something's been compounded. And so your principal, you always start with 100%, and this is like a rate over how many times it's been compounded. So if it was compounded monthly, that's 12, quarterly, that's 4. If it was yearly, that's 1. Daily, well, it's 365, which just doesn't happen. And then you're to the power of n to the t. And so this actually looks at, you put some money away every month for your paycheck, and then you have an interest rate. And so that interest rate helps build that money, and it just kind of takes that amount and it's a ripple effect. It just keeps on building onto itself, exponentially, by the way, according to that. And it takes a lot of discipline for that. It takes a lot of discipline for that, he talks about in this book. But it's not just about the money. It's about you as a person. And he talks about that you have to, people get to a certain level of success and they get too comfortable with themselves. So sometimes they think that, I made $1 million. They always say that the first million is the hardest to make. I mean, I'm not a millionaire, I don't know. But it's like you have all the success and then you stop and you get too comfortable. So maybe we should just lower ourselves down a little bit. Maybe you graduate from high school and that was my success. I'm done. You get comfortable. Maybe that you go to college, you get your job, and then you get comfortable. And you don't want to do any more increase in your knowledge. That's fine. We get too comfortable. We get too successful, and then we just stop. And we don't realize that. And so after a while, you kind of maybe think about that. And maybe, I don't know. And it takes a lot of perseverance, and it takes a lot of attitude, too. You got to make sure that you understand who you are, too, if you're comfortable in that. And sometimes we don't realize that. So the next chapter talks about that it's the little things that matter. And you've probably heard about this, is that you make little choices throughout your life. So for example, I have things that I like to do every day. And after a while, those little small things are going to lead to completeness. So maybe for myself is that maybe I want to try running every day. So maybe I set a little, maybe every day I say, you know what, I want to increase my athletic ability. So every day I'm going to run a quarter of a mile. So maybe I set a quarter of a mile for a month. Every day I run a quarter of a mile. Depends on the weather too, I guess, right? And so you do that. And then the next month, I want to run a half a mile. And then 3/4 of a mile. And then a mile. Yeah? You're going to get to effect where you're going to make something small and it's going to be exponentially in about 4 or 5 months. You're like, wow, I can really run. And so this all deals with about attitude, lifting weights, maybe relationship, maybe reading. Maybe you're trying to get a subject. Maybe you're trying to be a lawyer or something like that, and you want to study a law book or something like that, or maybe you want to be a geologist. Maybe you want to study geography. Here's kind of the thing I wish I should do this. Maybe I will do this. Is that a long time ago, I wanted to actually take one country and study everything about that country in 1 week, and then do that for how many months, and see how many countries that I can really get all of them. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Or maybe like I wanted to take one capital in the United States. You have one capital. It's 50. So I wanted to kind of get the capitals and learn anything about that state into that capital. So that's something I still can do. But that's a small little thing you can do each and every day. It's a ripple effect, and it just keeps going. So your perception is what you make it, right? So if you want to do that, that's fine. It just takes your homework. It takes due diligence. That's what they call it. It takes your homework on that part. You got to do a little bit of work every day to keep that ripple effect, that compoundingness going. You got to put some money away each month and make the numbers work. Part of it, I think, what people do, we get kind of dull, or we get impatient, and we want to see the progress. We want to see how it goes. And I think that's the reason about saving money, is that it's hard to save money, and it takes the right attitude. And sometimes it's those things about out of sight, out of mind too. So yeah, we get impatient sometimes. So he has a complete formula. The formula for this, he says the complete formula for getting lucky. A complete formula for getting lucky. He says you have to have preparation plus attitude plus opportunity plus action gives you luck. Whatever you think luck is. You have to have growth. You have to have belief. You have to have seeking information, and you have to have action or doing something to get that luck going. Here's what I mean. I think, kind of bog it down. Let's say you want to seek out a relationship. Maybe you want to be in a relationship. You can't just sit at home and get in a relationship. Well, you're probably saying, well, yeah, you can. You can go on the computer. Let's say that you don't do that at all. This is before the internet, if you can think about that. You have to go out and do something to go out and get lucky with somebody. Okay, that's probably a bad thing. Getting in a relationship with somebody. Take that back. But yeah, you have to do something. And so that's kind of what he was trying to say about this. And it's the small little things. And sometimes we want to save money, and going out every day and spending $5 for coffee doesn't always do it. And I know that I want that coffee because that's my medicine for the day. But think about how much it's costing you. And I do the same thing too. I have that habit as well, and I really need to take action on that. And I love coffee. Or maybe some people go out to drink every night or something like that. It gets expensive. So it's just the simple things that get us done. So it's really the biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people aren't doing. That's what the quote is in the book. So I like that. It had a lot of psychology of it, and it takes time. You got to feed your brain with positiveness and remind yourself every day too. And we have nasty habits sometimes that form. And it takes a long time to distinct that habit. Distinct. Get rid of that habit. And going back to habits, a habit is something that you're repeatedly doing every day. And then it forms a habit. So you do the same thing every day. So maybe you spend an hour playing a video game or something like that, and that's your habit. Every day you're playing a video game, and that can become a habit. Maybe your habit is to go get coffee every day. Terrible habit. Well, it's an expensive habit. It's a good habit though. But you have to delay that instant gratification too. And I think that's what he's talking about in the book, is that we have what we call instant gratification. We want to see results soon. This is why gym memberships make a lot of money, because people don't go. They give up. And then that gym says, I'm still collecting my money, but you're not coming in. So you can't give up. And so that compound effect is on that. It just keeps building up. And so a lot of it has to do with people's behavior too, and how you see it. So he says that you, plus your choice of decision, plus your behavior, plus your habit, plus your compounded time equals a goal. So a goal is something that you are putting some emphasis on to make something happen. And it takes your behavior, it takes a mindset, it takes a habit to do that. And it's your choice. And you're making those small little corrections or actions, I think. And so you have to set that momentum. So, momentum is really interesting. And if you know when Google came out, Google was just a regular search engine. This was back in like 2005. Google was just first starting out. It was just a regular, mediocre search engine. And people don't really know what Google was. Look at it now. It's skyrocketed. It's one of the main search engines today. And they were trying to get that momentum going. And sometimes you're going to be plateaued for a little bit. And then you want to, eventually, it will go. If you know if you have studied mathematics at all, the property of exponents. That's kind of what I said there. I mean, this is an exponent rule right here. Exponent. When this thing grows bigger, the amount will come out. It just takes time because it goes like that. So it really is just how you are strategizing and seeing the effect of what you're doing. And it takes a lot of influence. Influence is kind of what our brains consume. Your brain is not designed to make yourself happy, right? Your brain is not designed to make yourself happy. You'd be like, what? And it says that your brain has only one agenda in mind. What do you think that is? Survival. Your brain just wants you to survive. It doesn't want you to be happy. It wants you to survive. Think about that. That's kind of cool, huh? What you put into is what you get out. Think about it. And it takes consistency to maintain everything. It takes time and energy. Everything takes time and energy. And just how you work at it. And you want to kind of think about your success. And you become, here's how they would say it. He says that you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. You become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So maybe you hang out with a few people, you become like them in a way. We do that. We're social human beings. We do when we hang out with people, we become like them. And think about your attitude change. Think about your behavior change. And it just takes a lot. So the conclusion of this is that small actions can make a big effect. What you do now can make an effect later on in life. You have to have patience though, but you also have to have the consistency of doing it. And it does take a while to see those results. And you might like it, you might not. I don't know. Could this be used as a negative thing? It could. I mean, you can be in a long-term relationship and then you can, abuse the person that you're in for a long time, repeatedly doing the same negative talks, and guess what? It might lead to a divorce. It could lead to a breakup, a fight, or it could just lead that, hey, you know what? I conditioned that person to be in this relationship for me for the rest of their life. And a condition means that you're doing something without thinking. You're subconsciously thinking of something that you did, and that would happen. So yeah, I guess it could be negative, and I'm hoping that you're not doing that. Please don't. I'm not doing my part. And it's kind of like, I'm gonna lead you off with this. It's kind of like, you know what a well is? Like a well that you deep down. So if you draw your little picture, so you have this little well here, and looks like this little well. So here's where the water and stuff like that, and here's the water. So you have this water here, and then you're up here pumping the well. So it looks like this, with like a little lever, and then it goes up and down, and you're pumping this well. So you're kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, think of it. They did this. We as people, when we start this new endeavor, they grab this lever and then they begin pumping really hard. Okay, they begin doing it really hard, and they keep pumping, pumping, pumping. They don't see results. Don't see results. They don't see results. They don't see the water vacuuming up and coming out of the spout. It might be just a little bit of a drip. Might be just a little bit of a drip. And and that's what happens. People give up because they keep on doing this so much, and then they give up because after a week they don't get any water out of it. And they might get one little glimpse of water. But then what happens? The compound effect says, the ripple effect says, keep going, and in 3 or 4 weeks, oh, I'm starting to get water. Consistency now. So it just takes consistency. So I like that. It's called the pump well. Anyway, there's a nice little picture of that. So sorry I butchered that picture of it. But you got to keep going. So very interesting book. Like I said, I think it's worth getting. This was a New York Times bestseller, and I'm going to keep this on my shelf. There's a lot of value in this book. So hopefully that was okay, and keep that attitude going. Keep persistence up. You want to see effects, and keep patient. All right, bye.